Before Disney amassed 34 hotels, 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and a massive shopping center, back in the 70s it was a much simpler time, and that brought along their first water park, River Country. River Country was truly the first fully immersive water park, and this water park would truly set the stage for future water parks, even at Disney with Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon and other themed water parks across the country. But what caused its closure? So what truly caused the old-fashioned swimming hole to become one of the most iconic abandoned properties of all time? In today's video, I'm going to take you through the past, the present, and the future, and what holds the future for this property of River Country and what could be taking its place in the future, but we're going to dive into the history of Disney's first water park, River Country.
The old swimming hole updated with a few new twists and turns. That's River Country in the Fort Wilderness Resort. River Country is a newfangled version of the old swimming hole, where you can ride, slide, and splash into the water 40 different ways.
Like I said before, there was 34 hotels, many theme parks, and billions of dollars coming into the company. Disney opened up their first water park, River Country, on June 20th of 1976. Disney's tagline for their first water park was the old-fashioned swimming hole, and every single radio advertisement and TV advertisement was the exact same line, the old-fashioned swimming hole. River Country sat on Bay Lake, which was near Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort in their campground. This was a water park that was kind of giving the illusion that you were swimming in an old-fashioned swimming hole because the water was being fed in from the lake. River Country was the first attempt at a really themed water park. Every water park in the 70s was just a simple high dive, a slide, or a combination of both. You were truly immersed in nature in this, and like I said, it did feel like that old-fashioned swimming hole with classic rock structures, going through the waters, the raging rapids, and going off the high dives, the slides that dropped into the pools, and just being fully immersed in the nature in the Disney theming. Now, with Disney approaching this fully immersive water park, it really did lay the groundwork for what would be Disney's Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, which could have also been the downfall of this park, but we're going to talk about the downfall later in the video. River Country had a lot of thrills to offer and a lot of stuff for the kids, so let's go through what they had to offer during its opening years. Probably the most iconic slides are the Slippery Slide Falls. These are 2 water slides that emptied in the upstream plunge, and this was what would be a lot of people's favorite rides, including my mom and my dad's when they got to go to the park when it was open during its prime. Then you had the iconic upstream plunge. This was just the kidney-shaped pool. This was the clean water filtration that was the main attraction because there was the clean water filtration and then the lake water being fed into the park. You had Bay Cove. This was a sandy bottom lagoon style pool. This one had the swings, they had boom swings, they had the T-bar drop into the water, they had rope climbs, and this was the sand bottom, so this was the river lake water. You had the Whoop and Holler Hollow, also favorites of my family's. That these were the 2 longer slides of the park. They were almost like 250 feet and 160 feet that dumped into the Bay Cove. To finish that off, you had the Kiddie Cove. This was like the children's area you have at every water park. That was just the smaller slides and just fountains to spray the kids. And then they had Whitewater Rapids, which was a 330-foot inner tube ride, and it was like giving the illusion that you're on the Whitewater Rapids, which also, this was my grandpa's favorite ride, he said. If you want to go look at the other rides, they had the Barrel Bridge, they had the Bomb Swing, they had the Tire Swing, they had the Indian Springs, they had the Cypress Nature Trail, and they had so much that you could do on the property of River Country and Fort Wilderness. My family never got to see this, but looking at back at home videos and people's YouTube videos of their home videos of the park, this park really had an amazing atmosphere, just being truly tucked away from everything else, the loud hustle and bustle of the world. River Country was popular, one, for the water slides and the truly immersive theming, but it was also popular for the cheap cost of the attractions. If you were to buy the same ticket back in the 1980s, it would be around $30-ish to $33, depending on if you're a kid, a senior, or an adult, but it was a pretty cheap park to go to. But as River Country grew, Disney was also expanding at a rapid pace because of just how popular Disney parks were becoming. And yes, this brought competition from their own parks. Typhoon Lagoon opened up in 1989 and Blizzard Beach opened up in 1995. Now these were more larger scale, better themed, better immersive rides, and they also had a lot more thrills. These parks were a lot more modern in their engineering and all the slides and everything they had to offer. And River Country was the smaller and the more nostalgic and at-homey feel park, and the technology just wasn't there to compete with Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. One of the biggest differences at Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon was these parks were fully chlorinated water systems, and River Country was the reliance on the lake water mixed with the chlorinated systems, so that posed a little bit of the health and other challenges to go with that. Like I said, in the 70s, it was a much different time for health and safety standards. Like I said, we don't know the exact cause for the park shutting down, but we're going to get onto more of that in a few seconds in the rest of the video. But yeah, that was one of the main things, was either competition or the health aspect of the parks. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you guys comment your favorite River Country memory down below. That would just do a lot for the channel, but thank you so much for watching. Let's continue on to the rest of the video. This is the beginning of River Country's decline, and we're going to talk about a few incidents they had and a few things that the general public was noticing that could have led to the demise of the park. One of the most famous reasons that's cited for River Country's closing is 1980, a 11-year-old boy died from a fatal infection that was a brain-eating amoeba. Now, let me remind everybody, a brain-eating amoeba can be in any warm body lake on any lake in the world. And let me remind you, the park closed in 2001, so this would have been almost 20 years after the incident happened, so this probably wasn't the reason the park closed. A lot of people love to speculate that they closed the park down because it was just filled with brain-eating amoeba everywhere. In 1982, a 14-year-old boy died at the bottom of one of the slides, and in 1989, a 13-year-old boy drowned from the cable line, and a lot of people scrutinized the park and wanted more safety to be put into these parks. Another big rumor, like I said earlier in the video, was the naturally fully chlorinated water systems that were at the other major water parks being built across the world, compared with the lake-fed water being mixed with chlorinated water. So that was one of the main issues that were talked about with health and safety issues. But the biggest straw that broke the camel's back was in 2011 in September. We know what happened to the United States, and tourism hit an all-time low in the United States. This affected every aspect of tourism, all the way from the theme parks, all the way to hotels and other opportunities to travel in the United States. And River Country's final operating day was November 2nd of 2001, and we didn't see anything else after that. There was many speculation online from 2001 all the way to 2004, but in 2002 there was a possible hint at reopening in spring of that year, but then in 2005 River Country was officially closed by Disney and remained permanently closed, making it the first Disney park to permanently close forever. But the story does not stop there. After Disney closed River Country, I think the lore grew exponentially, from urban explorers, the theories of why it closed, and so much more. Let's talk about that. For urban explorers, this became their dream park and one of the most iconic urban exploring locations of all time, and not just visits to the theme park, but this was truly so cool to see people go into these parks, document it. There was even music still playing at the time after the park closed in 2001. I mean, just truly imagine exploring this park abandoned with the music still playing and the lights on, because the electricity was still being turned on to this park just years later after it was closed forever. The lore began to grow and grow after 2005 when the park was closed. Many people were trespassed from the park. Many people speculated the closure, from the brain-eating amoeba all the way to people making Disney creepypastas about this on YouTube, which are actually kind of fun to listen to. But overall, the park did not have any plans to have anything built on top of it. But finally, in 2014, Upstream Plunge was drained and completely filled. This began the mark of what people would speculate may be a new hotel, a new attraction, or even a new water park being built on this property. Back in 2012, I think my favorite memory of this was when me and my mom took out the boats on Bay Lake from the Polynesian Resort, and just driving by this, getting to see just the outside of what River Country used to be, and my mom sharing her favorite memories with me about the park was really cool. I never got to experience it, but seeing the outside, the decay of it was pretty cool. And just 6 years ago, I know 6 years ago sounds crazy to say, but in April of 2019, all the structures were completely demolished to make way for new expansion and developments on the Disney World property for their DVC members. Because the year before that, Disney filed permits for Project 89, hinting at a redevelopment of that site. Then the same year, Disney announced what would be Disney's Lakeside Lodge. This was going to be a nature-themed resort with around 900 to 1,000 rooms. After 2019, we know what happened with the world in 2020, which caused another halt to tourism and travel across the United States. And we didn't hear any construction or any updates on what would be that resort. But now there's speculation that Disney's renaming that to the Disney Lakeshore Lodge, and that's now under construction. Like I said, this is nothing confirmed by the Disney parks, but it's being speculated that this will be between Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness, and it'll be featuring both hotel rooms and Disney Vacation Club villas. If this rumor is true for this hotel being built, it's supposed to be nature themed and it's supposed to open up in 2027, and it could be themed to Bambi, Pocahontas, and other nature films from Disney. I'll be putting some photos on top of the video of what the construction looks like, and yeah, it is coming full circle, and this does look like it's going to be fully open probably by 2027. But like I said, there's no official word from Disney because they just opened up the Polynesian Towers and they don't want to probably take sales away from that from the article that I'm reading. Like I said, there is no details at all released by Disney on what this could possibly be. Yes, we know it's going to be a hotel, but I think the coolest aspect of this would be to add a hotel pool, a fully immersive like mini water park that is a mini river country. Like I said, if you're paying $500 a night, I just want to pay a little bit of homage to River Country and what was the former site, because it did hold a lot of value and sentimental value for a lot of people that got to visit the parks, and it really did becoming a stepping stone for the Disney Foundation for building future water parks. And to finish up, I just want to say my favorite memories from my family. My mom said that her favorite memory was going down the twin slides, jumping into the pool. My grandma's was taking my mom and dad there for the first time when they got married at the Polynesian. And my dad had never been to Disney World before, and they just love swimming at the old-fashioned swimming hole. An honorable mention, it was my dad's first time ever trying Dippin' Dots, which is the best theme park and water park snack. So that's the best part of it. And then my mom and my uncles with that was their favorite was going down the tube ride that was made up of a rock, like the River Rapids ride, and then fall off the tubes on purpose and then go down their bellies. So, in conclusion, that's the story of Disney's River Country, from the opening being the old-fashioned swimming hole, the incidents, and all the mysterious things that caused the closing, and obviously the future of what the property is going to be. If you made it to the end, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the video on River Country. If you like more video and video essays like this about theme park rides, former attractions, and anything with theme parks, roller coasters, anything of the like, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you comment down below what type of video or another attraction you would like to see in a future video, and also comment your favorite River Country video down below. And without further ado, I'm Austin from Park Hoppers Productions. Have a fantastic and magical day.